What is good, ladies and gentlemen? It's Tristan Tom Renzi, also known as King Tristan Tom Renzi. Want to speak on something really fast here. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and freedom of religion is being silenced in Canada with Bill C9, Bill C22, and Bill C34. And what this is basically the government is going to control what speech is now, right? So they can say what hate speech is, they can say what it not is, right? I want to say something right here about this. When you talk about speech, right, stating facts about the government, having your own opinion about what's going on, that's not hate speech. That's called your own opinion. That's called your free thinking mind, right? Hate speech is walking directly up to somebody and just saying negative things, right? Having your opinion about a certain movement or a certain thing going on in the government is not hate speech. But with our government in office, this is what they're going to do. So Mark Carney is basically trying to lock up every citizen possible that criticizes his government, right? And besides that, he introduced something where if you preach the Bible in public, you can face time in jail for that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're at. All right, this is where we're at. When we look at American money, it says, "In God we trust," right? We look at America's saying, "One nation under God," right? That's our motto, right? One nation under God. And for some reason in Canada, if we believe in God, if we preach Jesus Christ, we praise Jesus Christ, whatever, we're the ones that can get charged for that. So instead of going after all the gangs that are causing problems, instead of going after all the criminals that get a slap on the wrist, no, the government is worried about speech, right? They're worried about people speaking their minds freely, right? That is where we are at, ladies and gentlemen. And you see, in America, this would never happen because there's a thing called freedom of speech, your First Amendment right. But in Canada, this is where we are at. Silencing people for speaking their mind freely. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what happened to Nancy Graywall. And rest in peace to Nancy Graywall. I'm going to honor her legacy, building her a 250-foot statue on Detroit River. But ladies and gentlemen, the point I want to make here is when you start silencing speech, when the government says you can't say this, when the government says you can't say that, when the government says, well, you direct this at somebody and that's hate. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'll put it like this. China has an immigration policy, right? And for some reason in China, when they ban Muslims in China, they banned the name Muhammad, they banned Muslims, and they banned people from praying in the streets. They also destroyed people's stuff in there, right? Remember that? All the mosques, right? All the mosques that were destroyed. But all of a sudden, China and Canada, oh, we're just working together, right? Mark Carney's just shaking hands with Xi Jinping like there's just nothing going on, right? So it's funny how Mark Carney says, I'm going to lock up Canadian citizens for criticizing immigrants and blah, 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 blah. But yet you're working with China, who just destroyed mosques, who just banned the name Mohammed, and banned praying in their streets. So what are you going to say there? What's going on now? That's some rhetoric, isn't it? But they're not going to tell you that, right? No. This is the problem with our government. It's all about deception. It's all about misinformation, disinformation. It's all about lying to the public. The same as the media, right? It's funny with the CBC news media, they block their comments on every single post. And you know why they do that? Because they get dissed everywhere. They get criticized from everybody in this country. CBC is the fakest news station. You know what? They're more fake than CNN, and CNN's very fake news, so my God, that's got to be something. CBC is so phony. They want to talk about Trump attacking Canada. Really? Because Doug Ford said he was going to cut off America's power during the strongest winter storm America ever faced, right? Y'all booed WWE. I'm pretty sure the event was Elimination Chamber in Toronto. Y'all booed WWE's event when they sang the American National Anthem and even sang the Canadian National Anthem after that. But y'all booed the American National Anthem for what reason? Because people in Canada have Trump derangement syndrome, TDS. The same thing as the hockey game, right? The nation's face-off when it was in Montreal and y'all booed the American National Anthem. Well, in Buffalo, they sang the Canadian National Anthem. That's strange, right? That shows that people in Buffalo respect Canada. People of America obviously respect Canada. right? Like I said, real Americans love Canadians. Real Canadians love Americans. It's that simple. But when you have a government trying to cause this much deception, this much disinformation to the public, and for the news media to keep lying and lying and lying and lying consistently, something needs to be done. And this is the reason why I said I'm going to make Windsor great again. This is the reason why I said I am fighting for a better future. Not only just for the city, but even for the country with the 51st state. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if we were part of America, the Canadian youth would be a lot stronger. The Canadian youth would have a lot more opportunity to work, to buy houses, to have families, to grow the economy. Our dollar would be a lot stronger under America. Canadians would have a lot more success. I mean, just think about the amount of companies that would pour into Canada. Think about the amount of jobs. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of jobs pouring into Canada if we join America. The Canadian dollar would be a lot stronger. Our military would be a lot better. We'd have self-defense rights. We'd have freedom of speech rights. It'd be a lot easier to own a house. It'd be a lot easier to have businesses. Life would be a lot better if Canada and America were the same. And then say, oh, we're going to lose Canadian culture. Really, how's that? Because right now, what Mark Carney's doing is deleting Canadian culture with replacing with all the foreign culture that's coming in. Johnny MacDonald is rolling in his grave right now. He's rolling in his grave seeing what y'all have done to his beautiful country. Y'all have destroyed it. You weaponized freedom of speech. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this is literally an attack on Christianity and Catholics. That is exactly what they're doing. It's funny, these people can believe in whatever religion they want, right? They can come here and they can say, oh, we do this, we do that, you fucking follow this, you follow. Get the fuck out of here. This is our fucking country, and you know what? Like I said, America has ICE police, and ICE police takes care of these problems that they're facing with these people that want to be violent and attack random citizens, innocent women. This is the problem with these type of people. They come here and they have no respect for our culture. They have no respect for our way of life, and they don't respect our system. So what they do is they abuse the innocent citizens. They take advantage of our taxpayer dollars, and they scam everybody. And the people that love these countries are sick and fucking tired of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to fight back. Because, like I said, when I make Windsor great again and we become the next New York, this city will be better off than Toronto. This city will be better off than Montreal. This city will be better off than Edmonton, Vancouver, you fucking name it. Windsor is going to be the best city in this whole country. Maybe the whole world. Who knows? But my vision is to make Windsor something that nobody's seen before. And the 51st state, like I said, it would benefit Canada in so many ways. Freedom of speech, self-defense rights, the Canadian youth getting ahead, opportunities to own businesses, opportunities to have a house, to have a family. It's all there on the table, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, the future of Canada is dying. And the problems that we are facing, especially when it comes to people taking advantage of our system, especially when it comes to the drug overdose. I mean, there is drugs all over the place. Human trafficking is up over 1,000% in Brampton, ladies and gentlemen. Just think about that. That is insane, right? I mean, extortion is now almost 400% in the last 10 years. Violent gun crime is almost 130% in the last 10 years. But they want to take the guns away from the citizens. When these gangs are out here shooting each other, robbing each other, home invading people, stealing what ain't theirs. And the saddest thing about Canada is the harder you work, the more taxes you pay. Alright? This is how this works in Canada. So if you work really hard in Canada, you pay a lot of taxes because of that. And the stuff that you already own, well, you got to pay more taxes on, right? This is the problem with Canada. We have a monopoly system, right? You know Monopoly? We have a monopoly system in Canada where our money gets taxed. You eventually lose half your money every year to taxes. I mean, that's insane. That's literally insane. And this is the problem with our country. It's the fact that we can't make money. We are failing really bad as a nation. We stopped using our resources for whatever the fuck reason. I don't know why we stopped using our resources. I saw a thing with Pierre Poilievre talking about opening up the resources and talking about fighting terrorism. And you know what? Pierre Poilievre is the only one that's trying to fight for a difference. He should have won the election. The election was rigged. And Mark Carney, you are nothing more than the devil in disguise. You are a two-faced, cold-hearted, cannibal Carney. That's all that you are. You have lied to the people You are nothing more than the epitome of what society has. Where what you have done to this beautiful country is absolutely sickening. And Justin True, DOPE, right? Dope. You know what dope is, right? Cocaine? Yeah. That's what I call him. And then, of course, Cannibal Carney. These people are corrupt. Extremely corrupt. And now he's talking about selling Canada off to China. Remember he said making Canada the next New World Order and all this kind of stuff? He wants to work with China. He wants to work with China. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Canada is going to join America. We are going to become the 51st state. And life is going to be a lot better here. Because the people do not deserve what is happening to this country. Silencing people for preaching the Bible in public. People do not deserve to go through this. This is not what Canada represents. This is dictatorship, this is communism, and this is Hitler's 1940 Germany 2.0. This is exactly what Mark Carney's government's doing. And the matter of fact that Edmonton police decide to even say stuff like this, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're at. You know the United Kingdom? The United Kingdom is about 4 years ahead of Canada right now. And you see what's happening in the United Kingdom with the thought police, right? You know what the thought police are? They're the police that say, oh, well, you can't have your opinion on something. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's called freedom of speech. That's called your First Amendment in America. But over in the United Kingdom and now over in Canada, they want to silence you for speaking freely, right? Pretty sad, isn't it? America, a lot of countries need you. And the reason why is because America is one nation under God. America is the only country where if you have a dream or a vision, you can live it. And that is why I say America is the best country in the world. May God bless you, President Trump. And America, just know, Canada needs you more than ever. Don't let Canada suffer anymore. The people that voted for Pierre Poilievre, we don't deserve what's happening right now in Canada. The people of Canada that voted for Pierre, we deserve a lot better than what we're going through. The people that voted this cannibalistic son of a bitch in, they deserve what's happening. But the people that voted for Pierre, we deserve better. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to working with China or working with America, I'd much rather work with America. God bless y'all. Can't wait to make Windsor great again. And vote for Tristan Tom Renzi, October 26th, for a better future in the Rose City.